we just have ended or began with this quote, so I'm going to begin with one and just kind of go from there. Now, I won't say where I got this quote from, but I will say that he is in this room. A best friend isn't the one that bails you out of jail. He's the one sitting in the cell next to you going, what did we do? And the reason I love this quote, I mean, it's not just because Brian told it to me, but it's because the theory of the quote, Dan, totally defines our friendship in that we were always getting in trouble together, we were always having so much fun together. It was never me sitting him down going, oh, Brian, that was a bad decision. It was us going, whoops. And it's just unbelievable. It's just so much fun. You know, here I sit with the responsibility to share 100 great stories of how truly nice of a person Brian is. And all I could come back to was a story that takes us to the Wisconsin Dells. We used to go there, you know, a week out of every summer. We would get a boat in a hotel and just hang out for a few days. And just one day, we were on the beautiful Wisconsin River on a boat, just doing our thing, and then this huge tour boat begins to go by, packed with people. It's bottom, top, front, back, just tons of people. And Brian stands up and just starts waving to this boat. And I'm like, man, that's awesome. Of course, wave to the boat. And it was just amazing to see their reaction. Like, they're waving back. Brian's like doing the queen thing. And it was so cool. I think the average age on this boat was like 65 years old. So when they realized that all Brian was wearing was sunglasses, the waving stopped. I think some old ladies were getting sick of the massage boat. I mean, it was crazy. But a true example of just how nice of a person Brian is. To wave at people, strangers.
That's good. That's good.
But you didn't even know him. It's just a story that needs to be shared, and I'm glad that I did.
That's good. Good job, Brian. Good job.
So a lot of people have been asking what I'm going to say tonight. You know, as I practice the speech, and I rehearse in front of a mirror a lot, and although, like my good buddy Brian, we have certainly logged some solid hours in front of a mirror in our lifetime. This time around, it just wasn't needed. When people ask me what I'm going to say tonight, you know, my answer is simple. I told them I've known what I'm going to say at this speech for 15 years. You know, Brian's been my best friend ever since we met. We met at a soccer tournament in Rockford, Illinois, playing against each other, and would eventually become teammates. When Brian was moving to our neighborhood, we're crossing states in 8th grade, and from then on, we were just inseparable. You know, we were doing anything from kicking the soccer ball around the neighborhood to rollerblading to ding dong ditching to roller hockey to John Candy style water skiing to the beloved frisbee golf, and it was just so fun, you know. And we had this knack to even make the bad times fun because we were together. You know, sophomore year, Brian miraculously talked me into running track with him, and we actually ended up being pretty good at it. But as everyone knows, track, you have to run and stretch and run and exercise, and they were not always fun times. Pool practices come to mind. Brian and I actually, growing up, had the same car for a couple years, the majestic Chrysler Laser. And although we had the same make and model, Brian's car was unique. Brian had a horn on the car that rivaled that of an 18-wheeler. And when it was his turn to drive to this pool practice, he would pull up into my driveway at 40 in the morning and just lean on the horn, like, and this horn, it was as loud as a semi-truck, but it wasn't as tough or masculine. It was like a wounded horn. It sounded like you were beating up an elephant when he honked this thing. And after he honked it, woke up my entire block. You know, I stumble out of my house. I get into his car. I look to my left. He's freezing wrapped around some huge blanket. I sit down. He throws half the blanket over me, and off we go to this pool practice in negative 10-degree weather. I mean, it was horrible, but we were doing it together, and we made it fun, and it was awesome. I can still laugh about it today. It's truly an honor to be Brian's best man. It really is. I know him and I call every single one of these guys at the table our best friends. And Brian's pretty much been the best man at everyone's wedding, so I know this couldn't have been an easy choice. You know, I moved to Arizona 3 years ago, 2,000 miles away. Him and I still talk almost every day about nothing. And it's just always fun. You know, I know he really that kind of friend that will call you up and say, you know, hey, give Devo a call, it's his birthday today, don't forget, or give Jeff a call, he had a bad day, you know, and he's truly the glue that keeps this group of friends together, and I don't know if he knows that, but it's just an incredible honor to be his best man. You know, I mentioned that we ran track. Because we lived so close to each other, we would often train outside of school together, which pretty much just meant going for a run. And as any runner knows, it's a good bonding experience. You know, as long as you're not running as long as you are running at talking pace, we were talking about everything. You know, it was mostly about girls or problems if you got some, but it was, you know, good things, bad things, what we would do if we won the lottery, which. Shawn, I don't know if you know this, but you've married into a lifelong friendship contract to buy me a boat and a truck if you guys win the lottery. So we'll write it in the contract. I'll take care of it. But it became commonplace for us that if we had a bad day or if we got dumped or something, that we would call up and ask for a run. And we would just drop everything and meet up and just listen to that person, whether it was crying or rejoicing or whatever it was truly mostly about the girl issues. And Shawn, I'm so glad that I haven't had to go on a run with Brian since I've met you. Shawn is an incredibly amazing person. Erica did such a good job in showcasing that, but she's just so fun to be around. I've gotten to know her, I've hung out with her. I'm a big outdoors guy too, and I just immediately when I met her, I was like, Brian, you're so lucky. And she's just so fun to be around. What's ironic about that is so is Brian. And I know a lot of couples, their differences usually bring them together, but the similarities that Brian and Shawn share are ones that make couples last forever. And it's really going to be a joy to watch you guys grow. And it's certainly an honor to be a part of it today. So with that said, I just want to raise a glass to Brian and Shawn Gilstedt. Infinite happiness, you guys. Cheers.
Good job, Brian.